the SIG Romeo 4M. Let's check it out. Now, SIG firearms are well known for their quality, but SIG's just recently released a whole line of optics, and these sights are living up to the SIG name because the FBI has just approved the SIG Romeo 4M for their officers and their field agents for their M4 carbines. A lot of agencies are going to the smaller red dot sight. It's very low profile on the rifle, it's lightweight, it's easy to get a hold of, and it's really made for both eyes open shooting, which really you should be doing anyway. There's a lot of advantages to it. But these little microdots make it really easy to shoot with both eyes open. It gives you a lot of peripheral vision. It's unlimited eye relief. You can put it on anywhere. This sight is parallax free. That means that no matter where you put your cheek on your stock, where you see the sight, as long as the rifle's sighted in, it's going to be dead on. And that makes it really great in a really hostile environment. Now, SIG has put a lot of thought into their new compact red dot sights, and I think it's going to give Aimpoint a run for their money. Let's check to make sure the gun is unloaded. It's on a stand, so there's no magazine, and the chamber is empty. One of the big pluses of the compact microdots is that they're small. They're very easy to acquire the sight and just handy on the rifle. It doesn't add a lot of weight to the rifle. And so that's a very appealing thing, especially for law enforcement, military, and definitely for civilians. But it just makes a very small footprint. It has an unlimited eye relief. No matter where you are on the rifle, you can pick up the sight. Now, it comes with two separate mounts. This is the 1/3 co-witness. It also comes with a low riser, and this will fit on any Picatinny rail and made for different applications. I really like this size mount for my optics, backup iron sights, and I can actually see them through the scope in case something were to happen to the electronics here in the scope. It does have these covers, the pop-down covers, and these are screwed in, which makes it really nice. Your battery compartments right here is the CR3032, which is one of the most common batteries used for most of your optics. And there's knurling on the side, so it makes it simple to be able to pull this off. Then here you have your battery cap. You have a spring tension in the top of the cap, and that really holds it into place. One of the great things about this too, which is becoming more and more typical, is that the battery life on these optics are 50,000 hours, and that's 5.7 years, and left on a medium setting. You have your windage and elevation turrets right here. They are covered, which makes it really nice. They do have a small little indentation in the top of the cap, which you can use as your sight tool. Here you can see inside the cap, it gives you the direction to adjust your MOA. But what I really like is that the adjustments are also listed right on the back behind the turrets. That makes it really nice to be able just to put this up and to adjust as you're looking through, and you know if you're going up or down. But at the top of the cap, that fits down into the groove, and you can hear. So it's tactile and it's audible. And the threads are really well done. They go on really smooth. And they are protected. As you can see, up has ledges that come up and protect your covers. Each click is 0.5 MOA adjustment, and you have up to 50 MOA adjustment total for the windage and elevation. Your off and on and brightness controls are on top. That way you can just reach up, either increase or decrease And to set this on, all you have to do is just to press and hold, and it comes on. Press and hold, and then it'll shut off. But one of the best features about this sight is that it goes from a 2 MOA dot, and if you press both at the same time and hold them down, it goes to a 65 MOA circle around the dot, which is very similar to the EOTech. We have it a medium setting. We're going to bump this up and let you see just how bright. Now, of course, in the camera, and if it's daylight, it takes away a lot of that flash. I have the lens cover closed on the other side, and that's the brightest. And then we just kind of go down. There are 10 daylight settings, and there are 2 night vision settings. Okay, here we have the 65 MOA ring around a 2 MOA dot. And as I brighten that up, actually it just seems to be smaller in this camera lens, but you can see how it works. This really draws your eye very quickly to that dot, and it kind of frames it in. And you can see as you move it, it just frames it right into place. And then if you want to go from the 65 MOA ring, you want to get rid of that, just hold down and it'll drop down. So it's very intuitive, and then hold down and it cuts off altogether. Press and it comes right back on. Now guys, this is the highest setting in bright sunlight. And you don't get all that reflective that you get when I closed it down inside. It's a very clear, crisp circle and dot. So I wanted to point that out because it can be an illusion when you're shooting. You want to make sure that you do know that this sight holds up very well. There's no reflection and there's no backlash. Now at the range, the sight performed as expected. We initially started shooting from 1 to 2 to 300 yards, hitting steel with this 1 magnification red dot, which makes it really good for those medium ranges. Whether it's CQB up close and personal, or you can reach out to about 3, even up to 400 yards. But then when you get into the rapid fire, the sight held up well. In fact, we were using this on the Franklin Armory binary trigger and shooting almost full auto. I mean, it was very rapid fire, and we had no problems with this sight whatsoever. Then we put it on the Smith & Wesson SW Victory 22. Bringing it up and hitting steel very quickly was just so easy. Whether it was the 2 MOA dot or you switch it out to the 65 MOA circle around the dot, it just made it very versatile. If you want to get rid of that 65 MOA ring, you can do so really quickly, but that ring really draws the eye in tight. Here's some samples of 100-yard groups that we were shooting, and it just really held in tight, even at 1x magnification. That dot just really holds in well. And so you can see the different groups that we had. Using the Freedom munitions, and this was 55 grain, just full metal jacket. It's their new manufactured stuff, but it just does very well. I've had really good success with this. And I want to thank Freedom Munitions for sending the 5.56 because it really helps to be able to really test these guns out. And guys, now with this sight, I've shot over 600 rounds with the Freedom Munitions, and the sight's just holding up fantastic. Now the left side of the scope is very plain, and it just has the Romeo 4 and then the SIG logo right here. Now you'll notice this is sort of angular, and this is made really to make it a very small IR footprint, which was just something that SIG added in there. These will unscrew, which makes this, it's really a great feature for this optic. And then you can attach your bikini covers on here or your anti-reflective lens, which is included. Now, of course, most of your modern optics have coatings on the lens. This is the Spectra coat. It's an ultra wide band, which is an anti-reflective coating, but it also allows for superior light transmission. So this really gives you good light transmission, but also, again, keeps down reflection. Now the sight without the mount weighs 3.2 ounces. It's 2.65 inches in length, it's 1.6 inches in width, and it's 1.4 inches in height without the mount. And of course you've got your 1.41 inch mount here, and this is the 1/3 co-witness, and then of course your low mount is just really low to the receiver. Now the Romeo 4M is the top of the line, and it has been ruggedized to make it just a little tougher than the other sights. Really, the IPX rating is a little bit higher on this scope than it is on the others. I believe this is IPX 8, which is what they say 1 atmosphere, which is 33 feet in water submersible for 30 minutes. And it is anti-fog and of course waterproof. Now the sight is CNC machined out of one solid piece of aluminum, which really helps with quality. The Romeo 4 comes in a really nice box, closed foam padding with owner's manual. You get bikini covers, you get the sight, and it has the pop down covers. You get a 1/3 co-witness mount to go right on your AR-15, a low ride mount that you can use for shotgun, AK-47, or even put this on your pistol. You get a small Torx wrench, and you get an anti-reflective lens, plus there's a battery right here. The bikini covers really work well with a pistol, makes it really handy. You don't really need the flip-ups, and it helps protect from dust, dirt, and the lens. Now you can use your tool to loosen your mount, but you can also use it to change your mounts out. So it's the same screw that goes into the mounts underneath. And so you can change those out as well. Now it starts out with the 4A, 4B, C, then it has the Romeo 5. And so there are a number of different models. The Romeo 5 is probably the least expensive of the whole bunch. And there's some different features. You can go to the SIG website and look at all the different type features. Now one thing that I will note is that the Romeo 4C has a solar panel on top. And that's pretty cool. It kind of backs up your battery backup, which, you know, you still have your battery that needs to be inserted to run the optic, but it saves you a lot on your battery life. But again, you've got 50,000 hours already. Plus, this has what they call the MOTAC feature. And if this sits for 2 minutes, it'll shut down. And then as soon as the rifle is moved or the sight is moved at all, it comes right back on. That'll also give you extended battery life over the 50,000 hours. Now in the comments I always get questions about where something is made. And one of the things about this optic is there is nowhere that has a label that says it was made anywhere else than the United States. Sometimes the higher end optics are made in the US and some of the lower end, you know, to keep the price down, made somewhere else. So if you find that any different, please leave it in the comments below. Now as far as pros and cons of this sight, it's really an excellent sight. The dual reticle system to me is great. I mean, you can go from, you know, your 2 MOA to your 65 MOA circle. That gives you a lot of options, which I love. And I like the way the controls are here on the top and how simple they are. I love the screw-in caps and of course the bikini covers coming with both type mounts. The glass is just exceptional, and you know, the coatings and everything. I mean, it's just a really good solid scope. As far as anything I can see as a downside, the only thing, and it's kind of different, but the caps seem to scuff up quickly. Now we did use these quite a bit, but there's a little bit of scuffing here, and even on the windage, just a little bit. But as far as anything else, everything seems to be complete. Now one of the things about these scopes is that they have a lifetime warranty on them. In fact, it's called an infinite warranty. That if anything happens to this scope, even if it's damaged, not even your fault, it just is damaged in some way, there's a no questions, no hassle warranty on these that's actually transferable. And that is fantastic for a scope. One of the caveats though is that the electronics have a 5-year warranty on them, which is typical. But typically these electronics seem to hold up very well anyway. I've seen a lot of scopes that have been damaged beyond recognition where the electronics still work. So infinite warranty on the body and on the mechanics of the scope, and on the electronics you have a 5-year warranty. Now I want to thank Optics Planet for sending this sight, and down below I'll have some links and you can get a 5% discount if you use SUIT00 in the coupon code. These sights run retail $5.99, but on the Optics Planet website they're $4.99. Then you get your 5% discount. The other sights are less, so you can check those out on the SIG website. Now obviously this is a new sight, and there's a lot of field testing and reviewing that needs to be done on this sight to find out if it'll stand up to the SIG quality. But with the FBI's choice to approve this sight for their field agents for use on their AR-15s, I think that tells a lot about the research that's gone into this sight. So far so good. Again, we've put about 600 to 700 rounds with this sight on the rifle, and then of course with pistol, and it's just held up fantastic. But again, as I always like to say, check with other reviews, look what people are saying, and then make your choice, because the optic on your rifle is very important, especially if it's a go-to rifle. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Introduced, okay. Now the rugged, okay. Now that, oh, you suck. Whew. Man, it's cold out here. It's 20-something degrees. I'm going in.